No, we're not.
Recording.
We are. Actually.
We're live, folks.
Once it's started here. I got it.
In the tiny.
Go on. Yeah. I got it. For me. I don't know. They don't have it. Morning, Mike. Saturday morning. It's almost September. I know. I cannot believe it. A great summer. It's been a good summer. A great summer would have been if we all had off and stayed on the beach all day. Yeah. 5 weeks. Before. Europe doesn't have any. Let's see.
Okay, it's 8 o'clock. Let's start the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll.
Albrecht. Baslow. Here. Day.
Here.
Gurecki. Here. Scarano.
Here.
Warnzak.
Here.
Bono.
Here.
Present.
Present. Mission statement.
Sure. The Herkimer County Industrial Development Agency delivers economic incentives to business and industry to diversify and strengthen Herkimer County's tax base and enhance community vitality by supporting job creation, business and industrial development, and community revitalization. We strive to develop the local economy in an organized, sustainable, and environmentally beneficial manner.
Welcome, everybody. We have Mr. Wallace on the phone. Who's on one?
Brian Miller's office, I thought I saw.
On Sunday Miller's office. All right, let's go to the minutes, the July 26th, regular board meeting, and the August 24th. Public hearing. Front of you, let's start with the July 26th, any corrections, additions, deletions. And motion to accept those minutes. And second, Mike, what's that? Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. How about the August 24th? We need a motion. Lori, second. And discussion.
So at that meeting, it was nice to see we had some representation from the town of Schuyler there, which is a rarity. So we're very happy to see them there. They asked some questions. We really can't respond to their questions there, but offline they had some very positive things to say about our projects there and what we continue to do to help support Schuyler. So thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, right.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Carried. July financial reports are in front of you. Any comments or questions before we ask John? All right, John, you want to start with the financial?
Sure, everything's going to be good. So, in fact, well, I know this only goes to July, but yesterday, in fact, we received half of our inducement, half of our fee yesterday from Project Bloom too, so that adds to the bottom line. Everything else is good. All of our loan people have paid up. They're to date. You know, we're right on track with our budget. We're not seeing anything crazy. We see more coming in, a few more projects before the end of the year. But everything's equaling out. We don't see any other major expenses coming up unless you decide to buy me a vehicle.
Moving on.
Just one, I'm sorry, the PIP for the Skylar Business Park, the 328.5. Just remind me, is that something that wasn't anticipated for to hit in 2022?
No, it was because there's different ones that we have to, it takes a while before we can start collecting that too.
Okay,
So there's that year round. So yeah, that was just.
oh, okay, because it's not in the 2022 budget section, so I just want to make sure I understood.
I'm gonna have to look into that. Ann.
That's fine.
I'll get back to you.
I just noticed.
Yeah, that should have been in there because we had, we did 20, well, maybe not, because we did 22's budget
Yeah.
in August of 21. So, and then they closed that, yeah, no, wait a minute.
Okay.
I keep forgetting we have to turn in our budget in
Yeah.
August, so it makes it like, it's really not what we know it's happening, because a lot changes from August to December. So I don't know if we should start looking at amending or not,
Right,
but
I was just gonna ask that,
But
do we
you-
ever look at it and just?
we've never, we've never amended it, no.
Not all that uncommon.
I know, we'll take
Okay,
a look
that's
at that. We've never had to in the past, but you're right, though, especially where it comes in from those other funds too.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Thank you for that, though. Then everything, no, we're all good on everything else, nothing unexpected like I mentioned.
Can need a motion to accept the financial report. And second by. Sorry. Mike Kinsey. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay, carried. It's going to the preliminary budget.
I think I'd like to move that because we have some personnel issues to move into executive session.
That's really number 7, small business loan grant funds, the CARES grant, Victoria. So just the fund.
Sure. For the CARES grant, we are still waiting to receive confirmation from Homes of Community Renewal that we can proceed with the grant. There was a delay, unfortunately, in required environmental documents. That being said, we're doing everything we can to move things along, having preliminary conversations with some businesses that may have interest, keeping in touch with the Small Business Development Center, doing things like executing the subrecipient agreement, just some of those things that we can do now, just to, that way when we are able to proceed, we can hit the ground running. The staff from Homes and Community Renewal were here last week. So that was a lot of fun for John and myself to go around and kind of show them some of their successes. That was their first trip out of the office since COVID, and they chose to come. An exciting day for us.
It was an excellent day. We went to Mike Livertore's at HBK. And they were very impressed, and he told us a couple of good governor stories and how it was going on.
Pretty interesting.
It was interesting, and with the perception you receive of people either by the phone or emails is so different once you get to sit down and talk to them. So we were truly happy to have them in and get a good opportunity to sit down and, I think we'll work out well with everything we do. It's just, they say not enough people contact them and talk. So I've already asked them for an extension on the CARES money. They said when we get closer to the end, we'll talk then, but they didn't want to commit to anything that day. But that was fine. It was good to have them here, though. Scott Lamountain's an excellent individual. He comes from the private sector, so he understands things.
I was at the SBDC last week, and that's all they spoke about was the CARES Act. They're excited to partner with you guys.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So they talked
And they'll help us
about.
market it too.
And they're getting a new executive director, right? Because Paul's leaving.
We're hiring for it right now.
Are you on the board?
I'm on the search committee.
Oh, wow.
That's all I can tell.
That's okay. We'll just review my resume twice. will you?
That's probably
They beat me down.
Okay, you want to move any of those? 222?
Sure, very basic. All payments are being made. Everyone that is in the program is on ACH. So at this point, the money comes in automatically. So it's not much work administratively on my side. But we don't have enough to support an application.
We don't know how we get more money into that program. We just have no idea. It's really not Sam's money anymore. We can't put our own into it. So it's sunsetting, but we've had it a long time. We've done a lot.
What avenue would be available to fund that?
Some other, like if we got Sam's money from a senator or an assembly person. Maybe it'll change now. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. People that usually do those things are the majority party that gets the most. And not the majority party, especially after the election.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Let's move on to marketing. Aaron.
So the first page, so I got to know, it's just the analytics of the Facebook and LinkedIn pages. It's, the data is up until last Friday, so since I posted the crosswords yesterday, there's one like, there's a goal that I made for Facebook, to get to 24 extra followers. And we're already at, I think, 15, I think now. And then the second sheet's just a spec sheet that John had me put together.
I think what increased our attention was when Aaron put on there, see John's lovely face at the farmer's market. in Alville.
I saw that.
I think that was a big grab. And
Every time I post
Dartboard
a
pictures.
picture of people, it usually brings fun.
and then no, but really what happened yesterday. Really changed.
What do you want me to do?
The sign thing?
Yeah.
Well, Aaron's done some research on the sign that the sign committee is a part of. We have 3 members that are on the sign committee. After the meeting, we'll have that available for anyone to look at, and then we'll probably schedule a meeting very soon, either via Zoom or in person, where we can start looking towards doing something there. Some of you saw the telegram online. Their reporter opted to just use some old file photo of the sign that doesn't exist there anymore. I'm not going to say he's lazy. I don't know, I'm not going to say that, but you know, it's just it just shows that they don't want to really support our area. So, but we do need a new sign there, and I think the grounds are very well maintained, and that only helps encourage. But the sign, I talked to the gentleman who did our other signs. Valley signs, Steve Lowe, and he's out probably 12 to 13 weeks. So, and then Mr. Bono had an idea about how to power the sign, and we'll work on that. We'll talk about that kind of in executive session.
Aaron, have you looked at, I learned something last night.
Oh, boy.
Write it down.
Oh, boy.
And certain age classifications to target, you know, like Instagram, because a couple of legislators were there last night. Instagram targets maybe 25 to 35 age. I mean, we don't have an Instagram. Should we, just a feeling about,
No,
I don't know.
yeah, I know. We're not going to do it right now. We don't have that resource yet. When we have some more time and do some other things, we're going to be happy to look at it when we have already. So just to let you know.
Stay with Facebook.
And LinkedIn, we're on
Mr.
LinkedIn.
Romo, if you remember, they said that you could do it Facebook and Instagram post at the same time for one or two clicks.
Great.
So,
Just,
so you don't need any more resources.
The thing is with our Facebook though, the main demographic is like 35 to 65-year-olds, and it's not the same on Instagram, so I don't really know how necessary it would be to put it on Instagram, because it wouldn't target anyone that follows us.
And also to our developers usually are in that age group. But if we start to do maybe another loan that's a startup or something, we might do that. But you know, it's you know, it's a different demographics if you're doing a church barbecue or those things compared to, well,
I think if we post jobs, you know, that are available, you know, we're always in that. Facebook page, 25 to 35-year-old, I would think would be looking for a job. So, all right, let me just get it back.
Do something with that.
Yeah, very good. Any questions for him? Thanks, sir. Let's go to 9, Zoom music project. Home Depot now. Normally orange brush.
so what we really need to know is, no, it is not Home Depot. No, Home Depot is the tenant to the project. We are dealing with Bloom LLC, which is a big difference because Bloom LLC will not be hiring the people that Home Depot will once they lease the spot. We don't really have a number on that, how many people they'll hire. So we want to just keep that in the back of our minds because they have not set a certain number and we have not done our benefit analysis on any employees from them. It's the same way we did with the Pepsi warehouse. The Pepsi warehouse was built by a developer to lease to Pepsi. So they're different things. Also too, we might be able to help out the tenant with some other grant opportunities like CDBG, but we cannot help the developer with the CDBG because he doesn't have the employees. So we have to keep that in mind. They are really two separate things. So what you have in front of you is the MRB group's cost benefit calculator. And as you see it, I think it's set up on the same. Yeah, okay. So you see temporary construction jobs with earnings. Then you see ongoing operations. We had no jobs listed in there. You see how it plugs in all the data that we entered. If you go to page 18, it talks about property tax exemptions, sales tax exemptions, mortgage recording tax. We had a very difficult time figuring out how the mortgage recording tax was divided up, where the money went. We finally got that straightened out. We also, it talks about salary schedules in here, the different revenue from tax. And then you go down to the bottom where the local benefit and the state benefit is. And our local benefit with state gets us to 5-to-1 ratio, which in the eyes of the IDAs in the state, 5-to-1 is fantastic. So we did very good with that. We believe the project will be done in a timely manner since they're going to start soon with excavating. They've done a lot of the preliminary engineering on the property. And so this is a program that we purchased in order to better evaluate what we're doing with the different projects that we have opportunities for. So does anyone have questions on any of this? Yeah,
So that's for the project,
that's for
not
the
the
project,
developer.
not the developer. But we didn't add that into anything because we have no final numbers on it.
Right.
These square feet, 52,000. But if you watch one news station, it said it was 5,200.
In the comments area, it just might be, because these are carrying forward for compliance sake as well, right? These MRB,
Yeah, well, there'll be in our reporting, yes.
so maybe it just might be beneficial to list that, the 12 to 18 jobs. I believe.
Well, when we put it up here in the 17, we have direct jobs over the life of the pilot at 0. So they know it's not the developer in here.
Right, I'm just saying it just looks a little.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you too, they never really look at the comments, they only look at the data. Because we could put in here, this is the best project since the landing of the moon rover, so they don't care about comments. But I appreciate that. It's just unbelievable how we have to do these things and
I understand,
But
but
they-
it looks like it takes a bit.
it does, and all they want is the data, and that's what we said, well, we can fill this, because they don't even read it.
And we're thinking about jobs.
Well, I can't guess that number. When you look at the design and what they did, they asked for parking for 50 cars. So when the visitors and other people, you're probably looking at maybe 30 might be employee, So I don't want to speculate right now, but they will be busy. So, and they do have the need for it too. I thought it was interesting too. One of the interviews asked me, geez, but there's no jobs and there's no people, how would they pick here? Well, I said, don't you think they would do some research? And how do you think Amazon came there, or Tractor, anybody else? They did.
Is that gonna be how many stores will supply?
No, because in all honesty, we've only met with the developer at this point. I think that'll change after the first of the year. But right now, the developer is just concerned with getting everything that they need by the end of this month, so they can start working on the project and get the ground ready and everything before the new year starts.
Do they have other centers in New York State?
I can't answer that either. Not through our guys. I asked him that. He said not through him. So.
Additional space there.
down the road.
No. No, because their detention is right behind them. The way that they laid out the building, it wouldn't really be expandable for them. If they were to start out with something bigger and angled it differently, yes. But they were really trying to take advantage of the road and where they were there. Right next to them is the 3.5 acre detention pond that's going to take all the water from the roads and the excess water to it. And then between Pepsi and them is the other developer, which we'll talk about in a bit. Yeah. The way that it was designed on the property, they cannot expand.
Some sort of prototype. that they're using.
Well, they're following what the standard of the building that the customer, the tenant.
I'm just saying, an acre is 42,000 square feet. The building is 52. We run a third, right, and then we've got detention and parking. We think that there'd be some of the skis and.
And they also have to put in a player's suppression tank. Does anybody else have any questions on this? This is truly valuable for us. And what else is good, it really does follow a lot what we have on our application as well for data. So we really do capture a lot more data now, which is important to for future development.
John, what falls into direct versus indirect?
Direct would only be like who they're gonna hire to do in the building, or are you talking about with the construction? So,
Yeah.
so the direct employees will be the guys actually, the laborers on site.
Mm-hmm.
I think the indirect will be like the engineers, the people that aren't doing it. Yeah, so there's only like 8 of those guys.
And you don't have the ongoing, because you said you've only met with the developer.
I'll never have the
Yeah.
ongoing because this pilot is only for the warehouse. So same way like Pepsi, we, and this was before you were here a lot, but Pepsi was built as, the warehouse is owned by somebody else and they have a 10-year lease.
Mhm.
So what happens there is that the developer, I think it's longer than 10, I'm sorry, but they built it to Pepsi specs. Pepsi guaranteed they lease it out for a period of time.
Mhm.
And the same way is happening here. They have a customer, and before usually even the banks will support the project. They have to have that lease in place.
Yeah, okay.
Where the next developer we have in there will give us actual employees and
Mhm.
things like that, so. I am, thank you.
You need action items?
Leave a motion to approve the precedent announced.
Yeah, we do need, yes, we do, it's in front of you.
Corey, second, Diane, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We also have a authorizing resolution, page 1924.
It's just for it's the authorizing resolution for the project. It just outlines again, like every other pilot agreement. Yeah, it's just, it is just another part of the package that we have to do to help support the project. And we need a roll call vote.
Get a motion first. Mike, second by Tim. Any discussion?
Albrecht,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Day,
Yes.
Nurecky,
Yes.
Morano,
Yes.
Weinzek.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes. Yes. Let's move on to item 10, Skyler Business Park.
So you'll see in here a letter from Scanell on page 25 and 26. We are terminating our agreement with them for the 25 acres in the park. They have not, talking with them, the group that they were set to build in here has curved back on their building right now. Doesn't mean they won't come to us down the road. He asked if he could retain the property at no cost to help market it. I don't think that's a smart move for us. I think it's smarter that he'll know the property is there if he needs to market it. And so at this point now, I asked him to send in that we would, that we would no longer move ahead with that agreement. It was $1,500 a year, I believe, right, Tony? Something really minor. But I'm glad that they didn't, because I see some other opportunities, which again, we'll discuss. So,
Okay, do you need a motion to return it?
No.
Just,
no, just FYI.
The contract conditions, yeah.
all right, Langfo, change orders.
These are just for discussions too. What you're gonna see is that Landco, who's putting in the roads B and C, or Andy Usick Junior Drive. Well, and road C, so there's been some gravel added, and then now what we're doing too is, we got pipe, ductile iron to put under the roads before they put the, actual first base on there, so, they wanted to be able to put this in order to keep moving along with the project. So they didn't spend as much as what was in the initial bid for the road to be constructed, the base itself, because it didn't go as deep. So really, we're getting change notices, however, it's not affecting the cost of the project. So it seems to be working out for us that way. So I just wanted to keep everybody aware of what was going on. And you can see a lot of the spoils from the road and the detention pond are going up into the front of the park when you first pull in. On the other side, I have no idea what they're doing over there. It's nothing to do with us. So that was just for discussion. Does anybody have any questions about Landco? I would like to move that to executive session as well, since it's a contract and we want some further discussion about that. Is that okay?
So, Mr. Attorney.
Knowing the nature of the potential conversation, I encourage it.
Health engineers, and vacancy observation and administration, page 32, yeah.
Sure. So they sent in an updated contract for us. The reason being is that they were using money left over from the original contract. Now we've set up a new one to finish with the water, the roads B and C. So we needed to update their agreement. And we've decided to put it in as a brand new agreement. And so we're roughly looking at about $20,000. But they've been excellent with us. They're the ones that help us approve the payments to Landco. They've been working with the Water Authority, helping us with different developers too. They review a lot of things. So, and this, before I forget, Stacy, myself, Mr. Hollum, and Mr. Lucente from Skylar have to review the drawings in order for Bloom LLC, in order for them to move ahead. So just if you can make a note of that, that I can reach out, that we need those drawings. Thank you.
I'm gonna need that by the 28th.
The 28th of August.
September.
All right, so we'll move on that today. I mean, I'll get it, then we'll set up something. Majority leads all of it. I think so, unless anybody has any questions on it.
Okay, let's go to 11.
No, we have to vote on
Wait, I'm sorry. Is this in our-
it. Yeah, it's page 30 through 32.
It depends upon if you printed it from your at home, because it changed. The package you handed out today includes it.
Because it came in late, but we do need to vote on it. And since it is for 20,000.
I did the same thing. What?
Okay.
I can try to read it.
Sure.
No.
Oh, here, take it. It's not in their packet.
It is, yeah, it's just what was sent out through.
Yeah.
Online on
Instead of just
Friday.
came out.
So a lot of things because we only meet once a month. And if something comes in the last minute, we're gonna add it, because if we don't, I can't let it wait a whole nother month. And to be honest, we can't do virtual meetings anymore in vote. And, I know only 4 of you for a quorum need to show up, but it's still difficult, and I'd rather have you come in for a project than this, so.
I think the Ann's credit what she was saying. She printed it and she read it well in advance of the meeting.
Yes. Oh, no, I just wanted to know why we keep adding stuff. Because if we don't, then I'm. But thank you. Roughly 20, almost 20,000, because you got mileage.
Need a motion. Cory, second, Tim, thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Aslo,
Yes.
Day,
Yes.
Moretti, Morano,
Yes.
Morissette,
Yes.
and Bone.
Yes. Okay, yes. Let's go to, 11, Women's Health Aid Pilot. Payments for the tip, which is now, general goes in, and 33 to 38 on the back. Sure.
So like we do with most of our development in our business parks, we put together pilot payment, allocating the monies agreement. What happens there in the case of any infrastructure money in the county, the ledge has been fantastic with supporting us with the Manheim project. We have received a bunch of grants for that, but however, we were going to end up a little short on that. But we are looking to sign this agreement, and I've already reached out to the different jurisdictions. I just need to bring it to them. Where we would take 50% of the pilot payment, and go back to the county to pay down that debt. And the other 50% would be divided amongst the taxing jurisdictions, which is the town of Manheim, the village of Dolgeville, the Dolgeville School District, and and Herkimer County. So this is all standard, what we've done before, but we haven't had the board approve it, which we should have.
Questions? Need a motion? Morano, second. Norwood. And. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Pilot business park.
So this is an amendment to it because we're adding for additional funds. So everybody signed it, yet the school district, so I have to get that over to them. But this once again just divides it out, that 50% goes back to the county up front, and then the remainder is divided amongst the taxing jurisdictions. I had a conversation, but I just need to bring it over there. I just got it back from Skylar. I couldn't get it.
Need a motion to accept. Well, Mike Winzek, second. And any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. Item 12, EPA Brownfield Assessment Grant, page 44.
So this is our $500,000 award for our EPA assessment grant, which will do a lot more than really just do phase 1 and phase 2s. We're going to start reaching out to all the communities because we're going to need some properties that we can evaluate too. Anything that's thought to have hair on it, think about in our villages where there might have been a funeral home, a laundromat, a dry cleaner, an old garage, maybe somebody did a garage in their house and, you just remember it that way. Not necessarily at gas pumps, but just did repairs or paint or something like that. A little manufacturing. A lot of guys brought home a lathe or a mill and did some manufacturing in their house and sold it to Remington back in the day or some of the other people we had around here. So let's all keep those in mind, but we'll be starting the process on this. We'll be forming a committee that will look at helping us again, like we did with the original one. And no, I can't until he pushes the button. Where is it? Which one?
He's right here.
Oh, he's right here.
On here.
You sure? There you go.
Oh, I said you couldn't.
No, I can't. He's got it down. Yeah, I don't know how to, is there a way to open
I
it?
think they have to press, they have to activate it.
Or if I know.
We've never been able
Sorry.
to.
No, that's okay. So anyway, so this will be a great opportunity. This will also, so this does petroleum. So this will handle all of that. So please, if any communities you can think of that where you're from, or you remember old barns that had oil tanks at them or anything like that, just let us know. We'll want to start looking at some of these properties to take the hair off.
Item 13, uniform transportation policy, pages 45, 47.
No, it's not, Tony, so, no. There is a lot of mumbo jumbo. However, we've learned something new. We do not have to have a public hearing for this because we are just changing our current one, but we do have to let all the taxing jurisdictions know, so we will. But we've changed it up to make a utility scale solar facility, a community solar facility, and energy storage systems, because we've never had energy storage before, but on one of the larger projects we're working on in the town of Columbia will. So this is something we're gonna update right away. We've also, when our administration fees will increase every 5 years by $500, just because we're gonna have to monitor these for a period of time. We left our pilot system for some of them at 2 or 5,000 per megawatt. We also, for the storage devices, we've changed that to 1,000 per megawatt, which we never had before, so it's really not a change. Both of them increased 2%. As all of you know, we do have quite a large project we're working on down in the towns of Columbia and Litchfield. I saw one of their town council people the other day. We should have a meeting with them very soon to go over what they're looking for. And we want to best help the host communities like the town and the county any way we can with some financial support from these projects. So I just wanted everybody to see that. We need to vote to accept it and to move on and make this our new uniform UTEP for solar and energy storage.
Questions? Need action on this?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone? That's fine. Thank you. Hand second. Discussion. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. On to item 14, there's a meeting that we've been offered here. And for John or Tony?
Victoria, we brought this to, I mean, there's an opportunity to secure an easement along the rear of property that we already own. We may never need it. But it's been offered. We have the discussion. There's no harm in applying for it.
Yes, fair enough.
Is it along Lake Ida over there? Is it?
It is great. The idea. No,
So if we're familiar with any of the other, can I ask you a question?
I guess that would be it. So
I didn't ask that. If we are aware of some of these other properties down here, should we reach out and tell them to secure those easements as well?
I would think that they would do that on their own, but yeah, we could reach out, yeah.
All it's doing is allowing them to cross, not cross our lands, but to reach the rear of their properties, which is now their property. So I don't know if there's a benefit to that, but so we don't harm.
They probably receive the same letter.
They all, it was amazing.
All right, so we need a motion to accept that easement.
You can accept it or apply.
Apply for it to
Okay.
Tim, second by, and in discussion.
Yeah, John,
All in favor, aye. I'm sorry.
just out of curiosity. I pass it a lot. What's this? What is it?
The pardon, I'm sorry.
I don't know how to say it.
Budadama?
What is that? Just out of curiosity. I don't know.
Isn't it where your buddies built the race patents?
Oh, yeah.
You built what?
They actually have gardens out along the creek and everything, and they go all the way down pretty much.
There's a Buddhist,
They have the
I think
bigger steps.
it says Buddhist, right.
They have big events
Basis
there too.
organization there that bought a farm there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 70 acres for both sides of the road. Extends into there.
We just have a soccer field there now, or an activity field, let's call it now. Yeah, transformed pretty much in the last few years. Is that what's to the left?
Yeah.
of the
No.
field?
No, there's a stage.
No, what's left is, somebody bought that from Shamrock Development. And they're putting some kind of trucking thing. DOT called me and said, what are you guys doing? He said, it's not us. Jimmy kind of knows who it is, but we haven't had conversations. They never approached us about.
Just don't do it.
Yeah, and with,
No, she's talking about this Buddhist place. She's not talking about the.
oh, where they dug across the road from the Skylar Park. Did you see all that yet too, between us and the thruway, 5 and the thruway? Oh, there's a big ramp thing they built. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, no, that.
Big thing about
Okay,
it.
so we have a motion and a second, correct? Any further discussion?
I saw that.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Carried. All right.
One thing was, contract. Okay.
We're gonna put Plug Power in the executive session.
That's under contract. Thank you so much.
You got anything? Take it away with updates.
Eastern Water, Eastern Mohawk Valley Water Transmission Line. We're applying for about $10 million in grants. We're almost there to submit that. It's due September 9th. We're just waiting from the intermunicipal agreements from the 5 communities, which I believe everyone signed but one of them. And not because they're reluctant or anything, it's just a timing thing, but we'll get it done in time. We've had several meetings on it. I'm purchasing the pipe sooner than later. We're still looking places to drop off the pipe. We're just going back and forth on a lot of things with that, but it seems like it's still moving ahead at a nice speed for where we need it to be. And ductile iron, am I saying it right?
Yes, correct.
Ductile iron has come down in price, so we're excited about that. And the time frame, if we order it this year, the price is good, but we probably will have it reflow. We're ordering it through the water authority's contract, so that gives us a better price, or gives them a better price. I don't know how to read that. But even though we won't need it till next year sometime, so if we order it in November, that will be probably the time frame. So either our next meeting or the meeting after that, we'll probably look into the vote. Oklahoma is one hot city. It was 115 degrees of pure enjoyment. I did have a great opportunity though to speak in front of about 150, 175 EPA and Region 2 people and present the dual fold. Did find some other grant opportunities for it, so I was excited about that. About 3,000 people attended. There was a lot of good sessions. There was a lot of difference. It kind of felt in some cases different because it was really hard to get to that place for almost everybody we talked to. They usually do this every 2 years, but this next year they're going to do it in Detroit around the same time frame. So if anybody wants to go to Detroit, let me know. You're more than welcome to attend in August. It'll be crappy and hot. It won't be a football game.
Speaking at the same time, all these were speaking in breakout sessions?
So I was speaking at the Region 2, there was Region 1, 9, so
I
they
got
were
you.
all separated out. So, which was good for us was that the new administrator, Lisa Garcia, agreed to come here, just like Pete Lopez did. You know, Terry's last name just went out of my head. He, you know, when he asked to do it, that's the guy who generates a lot of revenue for us and gives us, you know, a lot of grants and some really good opportunities. So it was well worth it for us to do and attend. So and just the other options to meet with some of the other people. The rodeo, which I won a couple of years before, Amsterdam won it this time for a project, the 5 corners there. And which was really cool that they won it. So it was really nice. Amanda Bancroft, really good. She did an excellent job, well representing our area. So it's really good that she was there. But these are always good to attend. Some of the sessions, like I said, not so great. I'm sitting next to a lady at the table, just a quick story. She's playing with her iPad, Candy Crush. And like, this is ridiculous, you know, but some of them just go because they get up and they say they can't do the applications and they can't do that and come back. And we all work together here and we make it work. I don't know what the problem. I mean, they don't make it hard and they'll answer any question you have. So, and it was good to be with the people like Costa, who's our local, and who doesn't live locally, but she's our representative. So that worked out well. MBCC has asked to use the Skylar Business Park as a classroom. for the first semester for drones. And we're going to allow them to do it. We have their insurance on that. They'll touch down in different areas. There's like 10 students. They'll start next Friday, so we should be good there. They've been there already a couple times to the site. But Bill Jerdecki, who heads that up, has helped us in other things, good man. And I think it's good that we let students come in. He loves the way the park is divided up, so I thought that was, maybe he was just saying that so he could use it, but I thought it was really nice, and so I'm excited that we can allow, and we'll get some book face time off of that too, and show people what we're doing. The Sonic building in Herkimer, we have met with the county. The county has agreed to move ahead for us to get temporary ownership to get onto the site. The county will do that. We also met with Scott Flansburgh, his sister, and another board member, Chris Connolly, and expressed, he said, I know you have interest in it. He said, well, kind of like he was going to step aside. I said, oh, that's cool. And then he said he had all this data on it. He did a lot of studies and things. So we got an email over the weekend from their environmental consultant asking to meet and said we wanted stuff from both Quackenbush and Masonic. And I replied, really, we only want Masonic. We don't want anything with the Quackenbush. And I let Jimmy, I think Stacy might copy you too, just so we all knew what was going on. And I haven't heard back on that data. So, we're hoping that they truly have some data with that, but if not, we're moving forward with that. Manheim Business Park, little setback with Delta. The lead person on that has retired, kind of unexpectedly, but there are reasons for that. And so they're positioning a new person down there, but we've already done the studies for the water to get the water tower there and the sewer line. So we're working on both of those. And I'll have a better update at the next meeting on that. Russell Farm, we have everything from the town. We've submitted everything to the health department. Actually, the developer, I saw him the other day and we're still on their list. So I'm excited about that. And they haven't run away from that. So that's a positive for us too. So we'll just keep moving ahead and hopefully, it's totally on that health department. I can't understand it. I know they're busy and I know COVID slowed them down, but COVID hasn't been around in a long time. I'm going fast, but if anybody has a question on
I
anything.
think at a point, we have put some political pressure on the health department, and maybe now's the time to look at it. A year and a half, or something.
Well,
At least, right?
He waits a month and then says, I need a month to look at it. Then he asks a question, then he doesn't take it for a
It
month.
takes 20 minutes to look at a set of plans and give kind of.
Well, the plans have not changed, Jim. The only thing that's changed, he wanted another approval, so we got the other approval. No, but you know what I mean? What the heck? I agree with you, Jim.
We'll reach out then to,
Yeah, former Chips gas station. We just got the data on that. It came back clean. Believe it or not, we're very excited about that. So they're clean. There's no contaminants in the ground, very small amounts. Yeah, HRP.
They had cleaned it up. They dug up a few years back, to remember, so. The DEC went in there and did,
And they did, and not too long ago, I shouldn't say too long ago, probably 30 years, but they put new tanks in. So the new tanks are what held up. So my opinion is, in talking with HRP, is that we should fill those tanks. It's kind of like a sand concrete mixture that fills in everything. If we dig it up, it just adds another layer to everybody just questioning everything. If we fill it in, we get rid of the building, and they put just one layer down of something, so it'd be parking for the bike path. I'm gonna work with the town on that. I'm gonna work to see, now, you know what's funny, Jimmy, I did want to ask you that. I didn't have a chance to talk to Bill Rabia about this, but that was a house as well. Can that still be considered part of your program at solid waste?
we have the 5,000 tons for economic development.
Well, they gonna take it down? It's a house too.
If it's a wood frame house, the authority will still out. But if it's a commercial building, then, they would work it, put it there.
Yeah, because it's a house and
Yeah,
that,
we
so.
could-
So I want to work with them. I'm trying to figure out if it's better for the town to condemn it. And it makes it easier to do a lot of these things. So there's still a couple things, but the great thing is that we did the studies ahead of time. So that opens funding up. If anybody you know in any of these municipalities are thinking on taking over a property, they've got to let us investigate it first, or that limits their funding. So we'll be moving ahead with that. I'll probably be coming back to the board for some assistance for the tear down. The last thing is the Village of Newport had a great meeting up there. The school is very cool looking. School is cool. I've always wanted to say that. So it's very neat. Inside, there's some issues, walls and different things, but the bones are good in it. We've done work with worse. They did the asbestos study. We don't have that back, or the phase 1 environmental, but we'll get that back soon. And I want to bring a developer there, Bill, to take a look and to really say what he thinks about the property. And then from there, we can move ahead. But once again, if the Village of Newport would have stepped up and took it before we did these things, they wouldn't get any financial support. So it was good. We worked with Mayor Butler, formerly Assemblyman Mark Butler, and moved ahead with that. So
Is it a local developer? Anything about doing that?
the guy who's helping me with another project, because he'll just take a swing by. It won't be Section 8 housing. It would be some really nice, neat loft apartments. When you really look at it, how close in Newport, you cut over the hill, you're in Utica. You got West Canada right there, fish, kayak. There's some other places opening up in West Canada. What was the name of the place your friend opened up now? I mean, in Newport, right there. Remember we went in there? It's a little restaurant bar right there, almost on the corner. No, that's Poland. Mount Everest or something. Van Dusen? Mount Everest?
And I thought.
Van Dusen. Yeah, maybe that's what it's called, but it's really nice. And then on the corners, this old bank building, and somebody wants to take that over and do something. So there's some exciting stuff happening there. And all I have left is for executive session.
Right, I know they like schools.
Yeah, but
But
they want to blow. Oh, it's that building. It's cool. Have you ever seen it? When you get that go up there, that brick is so deep. I mean, it's in really good shape.
So we did the agenda with one executive session. You're all welcome to stay. We're also getting off the call. Jim, thanks. You any comments before you get off, Jim? Or? So hold on, we don't hear you. I think you just.
We're the only ones right now.
All right, any comments from the legislature?
I have 2 questions. John, you mentioned if a municipality has a property they're looking to tear down, does that include residential?
I was mentioning about for this brownfield opportunity at Chip's gas station. However, if there is a residential property, Solid Waste Authority has a program that can work with your town. Maybe we should set up a meeting to have him come in and set up a town meeting or something.
Tell all this.
I think they're aware of that. I just thought you were talking about something.
Okay, no, there might be some other monies available too. With the revolving loan fund that we have set up now with Edge, we have $1 million. And we've set aside out of that probably $50,000, no, $250,000 to work on smaller projects. So with the municipality, we probably grant them the money, but with the developer, we do like a grant loan. So like one project in particular, I'm thinking about, I'll probably get a $250,000 loan and a $250,000 grant, but that's for a larger project. But if some of these smaller ones have something in place, we could definitely talk.
And then is there an update to the Village of Herkimer BOA?
No, it's been submitted. What was great too is the person that we deal with from New York State Department of State, which the BOA goes under, is in Oklahoma. We actually were at the airport at the same time in Albany. And we talked out there too, and there wasn't a lot of applicants this year when there was more money. So we actually want to have the gentleman, it wasn't her, but a gentleman and her come to Herkimer soon to view the area. Great.
Thanks.
And I am working with the mayor to select a few properties that we can start targeting anyways with the grants that we'll have coming in and some of the other things, that whether they need to be stabilized, torn down, what we can do to help review some of those.
Awesome. Just to go back to the solid waste story, it, my request, we implemented a program for the county. We're allowed 5,000 tons for any type of economic development project. So, and if the county, and even a municipality identifies it through the county, knock down the building, they get a reduced rate, would be the idea. We would get a reduced rate, so they're willing to work with us, so.
But we would want to review that prior to be honest with you, home structure will not, we will not utilize that program. We're gonna use it for larger projects that really do make a difference, because that amount is so minute. I would recommend if it's a small amount like a house,
It
we
is.
grab him, we go sit down with Jim Rapia and push him to waive it off, because it won't be much.
Any other?
Just want to say congratulations on Orange Crush Home Depot. That's it.
No one recommended.
All right, okay, we need a motion to go into executive session, to talk about some contract personnel issues. And second. Then, discussion, on the right, any opposed, nay, we are in executive session.